Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime Poetry. I'm Lorie and today I'm going to read some poems by T.S. Eliot. I'm going to start with Preludes by T.S. Eliot. 1. The winter evening settles down with smell of steaks in passageways. 6 o'clock, the burnt-out ends of smoky days, and now a gusty shower wraps the grimy scraps of withered leaves about your feet, and newspapers from vacant lots. The showers beat on broken blinds and chimney pots, and at the corner of the street a lonely cab horse steams and stamps. And then the lighting of the lamps. 2. The morning comes to consciousness of faint stale smells of beer from the sawdust-trampled street, with all its muddy feet that press to early coffee stands. With the other masquerades that time resumes, one thinks of all the hands that are raising dingy shades in 1,000 furnished rooms. 3. You tossed a blanket from the bed. You lay upon your back and waited. You dozed and watched the night revealing the 1,000 sordid images of which your soul was constituted. They flickered against the ceiling. And when all the world came back and the light crept up between the shutters, and you heard the sparrows in the gutters, you had such a vision of the street as the street hardly understands, sitting along the bed's edge where you curled the papers from your hair, or clasped the yellow soles of feet in the palms of both soiled hands. 4. His soul stretched tight across the skies that fade behind a city block, or trampled by insistent feet at 4 and 5 and 6 o'clock. And short square fingers stuffing pipes, and evening newspapers, and eyes assured of certain certainties, the conscience of a blackened street, impatient to assume the world. I am moved by fancies that are curled around these images and cling, the notion of some infinitely gentle, infinitely suffering thing. Wipe your hand across your mouth and laugh. The worlds revolve like ancient women gathering fuel in vacant lots. And that is Preludes by T.S. Eliot. Next, I'm going to read Rhapsody on a Windy Night. 12 o'clock, along the reaches of the street, held in a lunar synthesis, whispering lunar incantations, dissolve the floors of memory and all its clear relations, its divisions and precisions. Every street lamp that I pass beats like a fatalistic drum, and through the spaces of the dark midnight shakes the memory, as a madman shakes a dead geranium. 1:30, the street lamp sputtered, the street lamp muttered. The street lamp said, regard that woman who hesitates toward you in the light of the door, which opens on her like a grin. You see the border of her dress is torn and stained with sand, and you see the corner of her eye twists like a crooked pin. The memory throws up high and dry a crowd of twisted things, a twisted branch upon the beach, eaten smooth and polished, as if the world gave up the secret of its skeleton. Stiff and white, a broken spring in a factory yard, rust that clings to the form that the strength has left, hard and curled and ready to snap. 2:30, the street lamp said, remark the cat which flattens itself in the gutter, slips out its tongue, and devours a morsel of rancid butter. So the hand of a child, automatic, slipped out and pocketed a toy that was running along the quay. I could see nothing behind that child's eye. I have seen eyes on the street trying to peer through lighted shutters, and a crab one afternoon in a pool, an old crab with barnacles on his back, gripped the end of a stick with which I held him. 3:30, the lamp sputtered, the lamp muttered in the dark. The lamp hummed, regard the moon. La lune ne garde asun rasun. She winks a feeble eye. She smiles into corners. She smooths the hair of the grass. The moon has lost her memory. A washed-out smallpox cracks her face. Her hand twists a paper rose that smells of dust and old cologne. She is alone with all the old nocturnal smells that cross and cross her brain. The reminiscence comes of sunless dry geraniums and dust in crevices, smells of chestnuts in the streets, and female smells in shuttered rooms, and cigarettes in corridors, and cocktail smells in bars. The lamp said 4 o'clock. Here is the number on the door. Memory, you have a key. The little lamp spreads a ring on the stair. Mount. The bed is open. A toothbrush hangs on the wall. Put your shoes at the door. Sleep. Prepare for life. The last twist of the knife. And that is Rhapsody on a Windy Night. And finally, just for a bit of fun, The Naming of Cats by T.S. Eliot. The naming of cats is a difficult matter. It isn't just one of your holiday games. You may think at first I'm as mad as a hatter when I tell you a cat must have 3 different names. First of all, there's the name that the family use daily, such as Peter, Augustus, Alonzo, or James, such as Victor or Jonathan, George or Bill Bailey, all of them sensible, everyday names. There are fancier names if you think they sound sweeter, some for the gentlemen, some for the dames, such as Plato, Admetus, Electra, Demeter, but all of them sensible, everyday names. But I tell you, a cat needs a name that's particular, a name that's peculiar and more dignified. Else how can he keep up his tail perpendicular, or spread out his whiskers, or cherish his pride? Of names of this kind I can give you a quorum, such as Monkastrap, Quaxo, or Coracopat, such as Bombularina, or else Jelly Lorum, names that never belong to more than one cat. But above and beyond, there's still one name left over, and that is the name that you never will guess. The name that no human research can discover, but the cat himself knows and will never confess. When you notice a cat in a profound meditation, the reason I tell you is always the same. His mind is engaged in rapt contemplation of the thought, of the thought, of the thought of his name, his ineffable, effable, effin ineffable, deep and inscrutable, singular name. And that is The Naming of Cats by T.S. Eliot, who wrote the book that the musical, the Broadway musical, was based on. I hope that you have enjoyed today's T.S. Eliot edition of Lunchtime Poetry. I'm Lorie, and I'm a librarian at Manlius Library, and you can find me here every day in the month of April at noon on the Manlius Library YouTube channel for more poetry. Have a great day, happy Poetry Month, and happy National Library Week.